Welcome back to the KIMI KATO show. This episode is dedicated to Akira Toriyama, the legendary Japanese manga artist known for Dragon Ball, Dr. Slump, Dragon Ball Z, and Sandland. Welcome back. Welcome, Kimmy. Fascinating conversation. I have questions now, though, if you don't mind. A few questions about anime because this is all brand new to me. And I'm really enjoying getting to know a lot about the art and the artists, and especially Akira Toriyama. Uh, gonna dive into this after the show. I wanted to ask you if you knew Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I think is pretty well known. And then there's a sequel called The Legend of Korra, which I have not seen, but my late friend Anne Heche played Suyin Bifong, and someone wrote a tribute to her on one of my posts on social media and said, "Rest in peace, Suyan." And just wondered if you knew anything about the Legend of Korra.
I do not, but I would definitely want to see it.
Yeah, it sounds really like a great role for her. She was
Mhm.
well known for that. And anyway, so I'm a beginner on anime. What would you say, Kimmy, is
Well, you can never be late. You can never be too
right?
late.
And I love to learn something new every day. And I've from afar, I'd say I'm an admirer of anime. I'm an admirer of the just beautiful artwork that goes into, that these different artists create these characters, and never too late, as you just said. So where like where would I start though? Like give me
Gosh.
Kimmy's list for beginners.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we should definitely. Our next show is going to be about the top 10 anime or all the things you need to know. Only thing you need to know about anime. Maybe do that so that we can touch upon some of the most influenced or influential manga comic series in Japan. But it's vast.
Yeah,
There's
I know that's a big
history.
question.
Uh, it's 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 just it's there for everybody. There's something for everybody. It's just you can you can go on forever and you can get lost in it. But it is one of the biggest cultures that's been created from Japan. Um, Anime, manga is what you wanted to become when you were a kid, even. You wanted to
Hmm.
become a manga artist. You mentioned about how what differentiates artists to manga artists. Well, with manga artists, you obviously need to have the technique to draw and create your own characters. You have to be creative to create your own story. So that's the most challenging part is where you and if you're a top manga creator, if you're a top manga artist, you need to be able to create a story every single week because there's a this weekly shonen Jump manga, and that's not the
Hmm.
only manga magazine in Japan. There are many and few um, that that publishes manga from various artists. Highly competitive, and you have to come up with story that that so that you become a top manga artist, and you have to keep creating it with new storylines or storylines that captivate your readers, and that's most challenging. Dragon Ball was definitely one of the top. I think it was so when it came out first after Doctor Slump, 3 months after Doctor Slump in 1984, it took off quite well, and then the story became kind of tedious. I don't know how it went, but I loved it every single story, but it then slowly started to lose that traction. So, and because it's a weekly, they know exactly what the top ones are because there's about 15 manga series in the weekly Jump, Shonen Jump, and I think when he would Akira Toriyama would discuss with the editor of the publisher, and they would come up and devise a story that would then change how the people
Mm-hmm.
read manga. So they, it's
Mm-hmm.
almost like the drama soap opera dramas, like the TV series. They
Mm-hmm.
have to change with, they have to create new stories every week, create it so that people continue to read it or watch it. And that's how challenging it was for all these manga artists that are creating manga, drawing it as well as creating that storyline that keeps on captivating the fans.
Would you
So,
say that it's geared towards kids at first, and then it becomes a part of you almost, and you take it with you throughout your life, even as an adult? Are you still interested in the characters and the art and the storylines?
so yes, I am because I grew up with it, but it's a great story for sure. I can see, when you look back on it, you can see how the story kind of changes from
Mm-hmm.
how it was comical to then it becomes quite serious until when it goes into Dragon Ball Z. But there are many manga series that are targeted towards adults, or even teenage, between from young adults to even old guys like us. You can still enjoy great manga because of its story, and it is, at the end of the day, the storytelling process with the animation, and
Are there
that's what's
certain
amazing.
Yeah, are there certain characteristics that like stand out, that draw you in, that appeal to you? Because like I said, it's 60%. I've read was reading 60% of anime is 60% of the world's animation market, which is amazing. Here in the United States, we see so much on superheroes. Marvel, DC. The movies are always the top grossing movies, and it just it seems like they never run out of storylines and new movies. But for me, if that's so popular, so big, the United States versions, and anime is 60%, over half the world is obviously really in love with these characters, these storylines, and these different artists. Um, so I guess which came first? Do you know? Like, was it the superheroes or the anime
Oh,
art?
we should look into it. Definitely. I'd love to deep dig deep into this, because the superheroes tends, DC comic, all that, is mostly about superheroes, right? But with
Mm-hmm.
manga anime, it's not always about superheroes. Yes, there are superhero mangas, but as well as a story about everyday life, almost like soap opera that goes on for years, and it's on manga basically. So there are um, various types
Mm-hmm.
of manga, not just necessarily about superheroes.
Okay. And so there's different storylines. There's it's deeper.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Was there a character that you really uh were drawn to? Like one that you haven't mentioned, or maybe you've mentioned, but was there a character that you as a boy were drawn to?
Um, yeah. Within Dragon Ball, I would definitely say uh, Goku was definitely one of them. He was, it was, um, but he grows up and he becomes an
Am
adult.
I getting too
And
personal with you,
no,
Kimmy? Are you
no.
giving
I'm trying
away
to
your
remember.
childhood
No,
secrets?
no, not at
Yeah.
all. I also loved Norimaki Senbei because he was just a crazy scientist from Dr. Slump. Both of them are but well, Dr. Slump Arale-chan was very comedic
Mm-hmm.
throughout. And but Dragon Ball started off comedic, but then became quite serious as it went on. But still was a brilliant anime series.
Do you have a collection?
You know what? I probably have it in Japan. I had the entire collection.
Hmm.
Uh, I think it was 42.
When
The
I was
first
growing up,
series.
I loved the remember the 1010
Yeah, Tintin, I
comic
remember.
books.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I looked at. But whenever I've picked up or come across an anime, a story, the artwork is just so incredible. And I think I need to become a fan in late in life. Like you said, Kimmy, it's never too late. All right, so give me just one before we take a break. Give me what's my starter? Where do I start?
Oh, definitely start with one of Akira Toriyama's manga comics for sure.
Okay.
But then I can definitely guide you to more, maybe on our next show.
I love how you tease it. All right, let's take our last break here. We are talking about we've been talking about anime, but we've been talking about the great and legendary artist, Japanese manga artist Akira Toriyama on the KIMI KATO show. Check out Dragon Ball. I'm not sure which one I'm going to start with, but Dragon Ball. There's Dr. Slump, Dragon Ball Z, and Sandland. And Sandland's coming out again. You mentioned on Hulu here and Disney, right? Coming up
Yes, the
in
TV series.
the TV series.
Hmm.
So that's great. Look forward
Next
to
week.
that next week. So, and now I know what I'm doing next week. And probably you'll be coming back from South by Southwest, so you'll probably be sleeping next week, right, Kimmy? All right, we'll be right back for our last break. And Kimmy is actually this is very very cool. That's why I love doing the show with Kimmy. He's got all the great connections. One of his artists is debuting on this show a new single. It's not out anywhere, and I'll just tease you there, leave it there, and when we come back, Kimmy will tell you all about it. We'll be right back.